Is coming to California's Department of Education, and it's already sparking sharp divisions. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. As part of last-minute budget negotiations, California's superintendent of public instruction is set to lose much of its power next year. ABC 10's Becca Habegger is digging into the change and what this could mean as the November election is already underway to fill this seat.
California Superintendent of Public Instruction, that's an elected office established in the state's constitution. Governor Newsom, through the budget negotiation process, just signed a law that will create an entirely new position called the Education Commissioner. Now, this person will be appointed by and serve under the governor and take on many of the duties of the superintendent, including running the Department of Education, leaving the elected superintendent's role largely powerless. California has 8 statewide elected offices, including governor, secretary of state, attorney general, and superintendent of public instruction.
We think perhaps
Tony Thurmond has served in that nonpartisan role since being elected in 2018. He's terming out, and now 2 candidates who advanced in the primary are vying for your vote in November. Republican Sonia Shaw, president of the Chino Valley Unified School Board, and Democrat Richard Barrera, president of the San Diego Unified School Board and senior policy advisor at the California Department of Education. But the position they're running for just got stripped of most power. As part of the budget negotiation process, lawmakers passed Assembly Bill 181, which creates an entirely new position called the Education Commissioner. That will be appointed by the governor this coming January and approved by the Senate. That person will run the Department of Education, performing many of the duties and holding many of the powers which currently belong to the Superintendent of Public Instruction.
California has one of the most fragmented education governance systems in the country.
Lupita Alcala is executive director of PACE, the Policy Analysis for California Education. That's an independent, nonpartisan research center which made the recommendation for California to create the appointed Education Commissioner position under the governor.
An Education Commissioner would provide a single executive leader responsible for implementation of education policy, and that they would be required to coordinate across agencies and build the capacity of districts and schools to improve student outcomes.
I asked the 2 candidates running for superintendent how they feel about it.
To me, it's a direct assault by Gavin Newsom and the rest of the legislators that are going along with it. This is, he's obviously going around the California Constitution.
Sonia Shaw says she is exploring legal avenues for challenging the new law since the superintendent position is established in the state constitution. Richard Barrera says he's all for streamlining processes, but feels this isn't the way to do it.
The way it was rushed through created divisions among education stakeholders. I just think the entire implementation of this has not been well thought through.
Current Superintendent of Public Instruction Tony Thurmond also said he doesn't agree with what has been done.
I don't think it's a bad thing in and of itself. Whenever you want a governor to be directly involved with education, that's a good thing. And most states operate in the same way. Here's what is a concern: the manner in which it's being done. The state superintendent position is approved by the voters. And I think that's the method in which the position should have been changed. And short of doing that, what's happened is they've created an extra layer of government. So now you have an elected state superintendent who will have very little to do as a result of these changes. And now you'll have this new position that will also be in place.
ABC 10 reached out to the governor's office to ask why the law was passed this way. A spokesperson said in part, quote, "The budget was the proper vehicle for this language because the change requires the creation of a new state organization, the Office of the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, and the transfer of funds from the Department of Education to the new office, as well as a transfer of funds from the State Board of Education to the Department of Education." Alex?
All right.